Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at wagertalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at wagertalk.com.
All right, welcome in here, guys. Happy, Thursday already. It is March the 18th, and that means we've got March Madness on our mind. We want to thank, of course, our good friends at wagertalk.com because we got some playing games tonight. We got a bunch of basketball, but we're going to take a look at two of the playing games today, two of the games tomorrow to launch the tournament, and those games will include tonight Drake and Wichita State, the Shockers. We're going to turn to the UCLA Bruins in the East taking on Michigan State. Plus, we got a little bit of Georgia Tech Loyola we're going to touch on. And the Hogs. What would it be if we didn't have the Hogs conversation coming up here against Colgate? And what a matchup that is going to be. And we're going to break these games down with three of the absolute finest when it comes to March Madness, guys. These are the three guys you want on your team, including Mr. Marco D'Angelo in the house, Dave Koken here, and Ralph Michaels back in action. Take a look at the Twitter handles, guys. This may very well make you money or make you laugh at some particular point during the day. At Marco in Vegas, at Dave Koken, at Ralph Michaels LV. Exciting time. We are here playing games tonight. Marco, how have you been, my man? What do you got going on today at wagertalk.com?
Well, tonight I've got to play in the NBA up right now. And, guys, we've been very selective this week, but it's paid huge dividends. We're a perfect 4-0. I also have an early play up for tomorrow in college basketball. So head over to Wager Talk and check those plays out.
All right, love it. Dave continuing to dominate, my friend, in the NHL. Absolutely crazy. And I know baseball, one of your favorites and one of the more profitable sports for you, also just around the corner. What do you got coming up tonight, though, at Wager Talk?
Not a whole lot tonight. One basketball game tonight and a hockey game for all access. I actually do want to talk about the baseball package because it's a long-term commitment. But I think if you're serious about winning, that's the way to go about it. So here's the deal. I was number one in baseball last year. In fact, going back to the beginning of July 2019, I'm up 72 units in baseball. So that's a lot. Number one in hockey for the last 2 years combined. The deal is $8.95, which is discounted from the full season package anyway. $8.95 for the entire baseball season through the World Series. And you get the rest of the hockey right through the Stanley Cup playoffs at no cost. So that's a lot. It's obviously a good-sized outlay at $8.95, but when you factor in all you're getting, it's really not that expensive. And I think that's the way to go. It's on my homepage right now, wt.buzz/DC. Make the commitment to me, and I will return by making a commitment to you. Let's go get him.
That is absolutely the way to do it here, guys. Been crushing it in NHL and baseball. One of our favorites coming up just around the corner. Ralph, talk to me. I know this is your time of year. I don't know how are you sleeping at all? You're not? I know there's a lot going on here this time of year, my friend. What do you got going on for March Madness for us?
Well, the nice thing is, remember, it's so top heavy. After this weekend, we're down to the 16, then the other tournaments. Just one comment on Dave's note. Buy the NHL, buy the baseball, get the NHL free. The NHL is still $459, so you're getting a $459 value free on his package. I have one play for tonight. I do have 3 plays already loaded for tomorrow, including a 5% best bet. You're going to get all of my Friday basketball for just $39, including that 5%. And I will tell you this. The 5% is an early game. So if you want it, grab it tonight or make sure you get it first thing in the morning tomorrow.
All right, guys, it's exciting. There are a couple of NIT matchups here tonight. We're going to focus our attention on two of the play-in games, and we are going to head to Drake, Wichita State first. Look at this matchup here. Opens up at Wichita State laying 2. I'm still seeing totally the other way now. Drake -2 as opposed to Wichita State. The total at 139 is an open. That, too, appears to have creeped up a little bit. I'm seeing 141.5s, including a bunch of 140.5. So, Mark, I'll come to you. Winner of this gets to play the number 6 seed, the USC Trojans, on Saturday. Who do you like in this one?
Well, Joe, you look at this one, and it's a typical offense versus defense. You look at it, and Drake is a team that shot 49% on the season for their games and 37% from three-point range. Those are pretty impressive numbers, but they're going to be going up against a pretty impressive defense. Wichita State holds opponents to 40% from the field, and when it comes to three balls, 29%. So generally speaking, I like to look at underdogs underdogs that have the better defense. And as you said, this line switched, and Wichita State is now the underdog. But I looked a little bit deeper at this game, and I'm not going to go that route. Drake has only lost 4 games all season. And when you go back and look at the 4 games that they lost, 2 of them were to Loyola Chicago. They split during the regular season, and then Loyola won the conference tournament. It was a 9, or they won by 10. I think the line was 9 in that game. So they didn't get drilled, but they did lose by 10. But I look back to the other 2 games. If you take out Loyola Chicago, they only lost 2 games on the entire season. Both of them came on the road. Both of them came in the second of back-to-backs when they won the first one on the road. We know that's been a horrible situation this year for the most part. When a team does grab that first one on the road in those back-to-backs, the home team does bounce back. So I look at this Drake team, and it's really hard to not bet them in basically a pick-the-winner situation. And you look at them when they've been a favorite, which they are now. How about 18-4 against the spread this season? I like Drake.
He's liking Drake. And Dave, I believe Hemphill's back for Drake here tonight, so they get some help in this one. Wichita State, do you trust them in this spot?
I don't know that I trust Wichita State in any spot. They just haven't been all that good. And look, I give them credit for making the tournament, because this had the makings of being a train wreck season for Wichita, with the Greg Marshall situation at the beginning of the season. Isaac Brown took over, and they didn't exactly get out of the gate real well. Lost a couple of early games to Missouri and Oak State. They really settled in, though, and they've played some decent ball, but they're a flawed team, and I just don't see them being very effective, really, at either end of the court. And the conference beyond Houston just isn't very good. So I'll put Memphis. Memphis played pretty well at the end of the season, but it's not a great league. Drake is obviously, look, they're a team that was way under the radar early on. Nothing like this was expected for Drake. Quickly looking at where they were ranked coming into the season. The Ken Palm ranking for them coming into the season was 158. So it's fair to say they've overachieved. This is a team with phenomenal chemistry. They've overcome some difficult injuries down the stretch. Now they get one of their key guys back. I don't want to go against a team that's just had this cohesiveness and this feel all season long. Drake's really popular with the betting public here, and with good reason. They've been cashing tickets all season. I think they're probably going to cash another one tonight. I didn't put it on my card. I didn't like it as much as a favorite as when they opened as a small dog. But I do think Drake's the right side.
Yeah, I mean, Ralph, Tank Hemphill, he missed the last 9 games for Drake in here. Any worry about a little rust coming back a little bit slow here in this matchup?
No, and boy, is it a good story that he's back. He started every game 3 years ago. Then last season, he got hurt in the opener, missed the entire season. Then he got hurt after, 18 starts, and they didn't know if he was going to be back. So he's worked his ass off. It's so nice that he's able to come back. But they still are missing Roman Penn, their point guard, who's missed the last 6 games. Yasufu's done an okay job in there, but they are not the same team without Penn. But this is the type of Drake team I like. Darian DeVries has been there 3 years now. Took over a team that went 7-24, then 17-17. They go 24-10, 20 wins last year, now 25-4. You're in the third year of your system. As Dave said, you have excellent chemistry. And while Marco gave some impressive numbers from Wichita State, that's absolutely why you have to look at the competition. Ken Palm has them as facing the number 108 set of offenses. So you haven't faced very many good offenses. In fact, Wichita State has faced one top 50 offense all year, and that was Houston. Now they're facing the number 19 offense. When you look at, Marco said better defense, yes, Wichita State is better defensively on shooting percentage, but when you look at Ken Palm's defensive efficiencies, they're 103, Drake's 120, basically the same. So a much better offense, much better cohesiveness. Excited that Hemphill's back. I like Drake as well.
All right, Drake, it is, guys. And another game in the East we're going to take a look at here tonight, play-in game for, talk about two blue bloods, names synonymous with college basketball. How about Michigan State, UCLA in the play-in spot? This game opened up as Michigan State a 1-point favorite. I'm seeing a twos in a couple of places. I'm also looking at a total that has been bet down here from 137.5 to 134. And Dave, pretty inconsistent for both of these teams this year, but Michigan State plays in the Big Ten and UCLA in the Pac-12. Yeah. So how much credit do you give Michigan State because of that conference they play in this game?
I think it matters some. And look, they've also got Izzo. And you really can't overstate how good he's been in this event over the years. I don't see much difference between the teams. That's the downside. As good as Izzo is, this is not one of his good entries at Michigan State. This is a pretty ordinary team. Yep, I know they played in the Big Ten, but they just haven't impressed me. The point guard has been an issue all season long for them. They never really fixed it. UCLA's got talent. But there are a couple of advantages for Michigan State. One is the fact, I guess, they faced better competition. Two is Izzo. And three, the location. They're very familiar with Mackey Arena. UCLA isn't. That's maybe worth a half point. I didn't put a lot into it. Public's all over Michigan State here. That really doesn't bother me to a great extent. It's certainly not a play for me. It's a game I crossed off immediately because I really don't want to play on Michigan State. But in this situation, I really don't want to play against them either. So I'm going to pass this one.
Passing on this one. All right, Ralph, certainly the end of the regular season for UCLA wasn't great. They did have the loss in overtime to Oregon State here that bounced them out of the Pac-12 tournament. Who's in better form do you think here heading into this one?
Well, if you want to look at form, if you want to look at the whole game, I would say Michigan State. But I have not seen a first half dichotomy like I've seen in these two teams. Let me just run down some numbers in UCLA. UCLA finished with 4 straight losses. They had a 10-point first half lead, halftime lead against Oregon State. They lose in overtime. They had an 11-point halftime lead against USC. They lose by 1. They were tied against Oregon at halftime. They lose by 9. And at Colorado, they had a lead, and they end up losing by 11. Then you look at Michigan State. You look at their over-unders, and you look at how they've played on offense of late. Their first half production has been horrendous. 23 points, 26 points, 31 points. And then in the second half, they've scored 38, 52, and 41. So huge second half numbers making a run when they push the tempo. One other note I want to throw in, Dave mentioned that, Izzo has had great success in the first round, going 17-5 because he's had elite teams. Michigan State has had 3 teams prior to this year where they did not reach 20 wins. Well, guess what? Izzo lost in the first round all 3 of those times when he had an ordinary Big Ten team with under 20 wins on the year. I like UCLA in the first half. The way they come out and play, I think they'll continue. Michigan State has shown me they're going to start slow. First half Bruins for me, and That is my best bet for the end of the show.
All right, there we go. First half, love it. And Marco, these two teams here, a lot of inconsistency this year, but who do you have more faith in to get the job done in this one?
I like how you worded that, Joe, because one of my lines is pick the lesser of two evils in this matchup. And that's what we're looking at. And I don't understand why the NCAA just didn't put, Kentucky and Duke in the other play-in game, and we could have called it the BBB tournament, Bad Blue Bloods, and get one of them into the tournament. But, I look at Michigan State, and I look at the whole body of work. They're 15-12, and they're getting credit for playing in the toughest conference in the country. But if you dig deeper and look at what they did, they were 9-11 in the Big Ten. Okay, 2 games under 500. Well, it's the best conference in the country. But 6 of the 9 wins came against the bottom teams in the conference. And one of the 3 wins that was against a quality foe, yeah, they beat Michigan, but it was the final game of the season, and they just played back-to-back with Michigan. Michigan had nothing to play in that game. They already had the Big Ten wrapped up. So I'm not thrilled with Michigan State. I look at UCLA, and yeah, they lost 4 in a row. The Oregon State, yeah, you can't make an excuse for them there. But the other 3 losses happen to be to the top 3 teams in the Pac-12. And, you look at the games, few of those games were on the road at Colorado and Oregon, and then they played USC, their rival, in, a barn burner. They lose by 1. So picking the lesser of the 2 evils is going to put me on UCLA in this one. I'll throw you a stat on Michigan State. After 1 or more consecutive unders this season, they're just 3-13 against the spread. That would have us going against them tonight. I'll go ahead and take UCLA, and, it's not one that I'm going to probably get on my card, but that's the side I like.
All right, lesser of 2 evils. I think George Michael once said, you got to have faith, Marco. You got to have faith, my friend. All right, guys, let's take a look at these 2 games tomorrow on the card. And before we do, of course, we do want to remind you, though, best bets up and locked and loaded at wagertalk.com. All you got to do is head over to Marco's page, Dave's page, Ralph's page, ready to go. And, of course, now would be a good time to hop on with those 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access passes. Give yourself an opportunity to never miss a play. The next couple of weeks are going to be an awful lot of fun and can be very profitable. So head over to their pages now at wagertalk.com. We're going to head to Georgia Tech and Loyola here in a matchup of, well, I guess an 8 seed there. Loyola Chicago, many people feel not seeded properly, but I can tell you this, the market loves them. 2.5 is what it opened up. I'm looking at 5.5s in a number of places. The total 124.5 coming down a little bit. And Ralph, I'll come to you. Any team hotter than Georgia Tech coming into this nationally? 8 wins in a row, an ACC championship? Does it run out in this one?
Yeah, I would say Loyola is going 17-1 down the stretch. But you talked about seedings. And let's put the KenPom ratings in perspective. KenPom has them as the number 19, which means they would be the top 3 seed. So, there's some value. I look at Georgia Tech, and, like a lot of people are going to say, well, Loyola was a 1-year wonder a few years ago, and Georgia Tech won the ACC. But you look at how Georgia Tech finished the season. Pittsburgh, bottom of the road. Miami, bottom. Va Tech had just come back a long layoff playing a first game. Syracuse at home, Duke at home. They beat Wake Forest on the road. They play Miami of Florida, and then they get a bye into the finals, playing a tired Florida State team, and they get by them. To me, Loyola clearly the better team. A very, very fortunate team for Georgia Tech to get here. Happy to be here. First year here. Josh Pastner, like him as a head coach. First time, though, taking these guys. Loyola can be beat with some bigger guys, but Georgia Tech doesn't have that lineup. So I am on the Ramblers. Hey, Sister Jean's going to be there. They can't lose.
She absolutely is. All right, Marco, talking about faith. We going Sister Jean and Loyola in this one? How are you going to approach it?
Well, Ralph kind of stole my last line there. I was going to open it up. This line went from 2.5 to 5.5. Apparently, Sister Jean's worth 3 points because once she was announced, everybody went to the betting windows on Loyola that she was going to be there. So I don't, I looked in Ken Palm, but he doesn't have anything about Sister Jean. So I guess we're going to just have to trust the market. Guys, you look at Georgia Tech, and we talk about this so often, that teams that weren't expected to, make a big showing in their conference tournament. I mean, how many guesses would you have before you got to Georgia Tech as winning the ACC tournament this year? That was a spot that, did they leave it all on the floor in the tournament? Now coming here and facing a team that is not a good matchup. You want to talk about defense, I talked about in the last one. You've got a Loyola team that finished on a 17-1 run. This is a team that has held 17 straight opponents to 58 points or less. Georgia Tech is going to have to work for every bucket they get. Now, yeah, it's 5.5. And is guys that do this for a living, in our mind, it is hard for us to get to the window and lay 5.5 when there was a 2.5 available. That's just something. And the great debate is, do you want to beat the closing line or do you want a winning ticket? Here we're in the middle because this is a little bit too much of a move. I do lean to Loyola, but I can't get to the window with the 3 extra points there. The 2.5 was just wrong. I didn't get there fast enough to realize that, and the number was gone. And that's why we see this movement on this one. But Loyola is also this year off of a win by 10 points or more. They're 13-4 against the spread. That's the only way I can play this game. It's Loyola or pass.
And it's going to be kind of hard without Moses Wright for Georgia Tech as well, isn't it, Dave? Because you're the ACC Player of the Year, not on your team. What do you think?
You just zeroed in on why this line has gone wild. That is an enormous absence for Georgia Tech, particularly in this matchup, because Moses Wright plays both ends of the floor. He's a really, really important guy. Alvarado gets a lot of the attention, and with good reason, because he's fun to watch. He's a terrific player. But Moses Wright's the most important player on the team to me, especially in this matchup, because now he's going against Krautwig. You need to find a way to contain Krautwig on the inside for Loyola. And I don't know that they're going to be able to do it. This is it's one of those things where if you're just power rating Georgia Tech in a generic sense with Wright out, probably you would dock them a couple of points. But in this matchup, I actually think it could be worth 4 or 5 points. That's how significant it is because of the fact that one of the best players in the country in terms of efficiency, he's not a guy who's going to be an NBA star, but Krautwig's a great college player. He could go off in this game. I don't know how Georgia Tech's going to defend him. I just think the matchup here is bad for Georgia Tech without Wright. I think Loyola will win this game pretty comfortably.
Yeah, 17 and 8 boards a game here, averaging was even better than that down the stretch for them. So tough loss for Georgia Tech. That game, 4 p.m., by the way, guys, 4 p.m., but don't forget the early starts beginning tomorrow as well for these matchups. All right, let's move on to the final game we're going to talk about here and then get the best bets up for you. How about Colgate taking on Arkansas? And Marco, I'm going to come to you because I had to look twice at it and realize that I think this is only the 6th team that Colgate has played this year because they didn't have a non-conference schedule. So, surprise, here's the Hogs from the SEC. Listen, they've been fantastic, but who the hell did they play here in this matchup? How do you like it?
Yeah, it's a situation. Plus, they only played 15 games all season. They did go 14-1. They do shoot the lights out of the basketball. But again, you got to look at the strength of the schedule that they've played doing that. They shot 50% from the floor, 49.9 to be exact. And their three-point shots, 32.6% from three-point range. Now, this is a team that's going to live and die with their offense, and they're going to be facing an Arkansas team that plays some pretty good defense and obviously has better athletes being an SEC team. What I'm looking at here is a first half play. And here's why. If Colgate comes in here and has, any jitters, whatever, I see them getting off to a slow start. They're going to be a little bit intimidated, possibly playing an SEC team, different sight lines, playing in a different venue than they're used to playing. But also, you look at the slow start. If Arkansas gets out to a big lead in the second half, where the problem is, if I lay full game in this one, is you could get backdoored possibly with Colgate with that offense. The way they shoot the basketball, the way they put up threes, if Arkansas starts to empty the bench in the second half, backdoor could always be open. I think you're going to get a good focused effort from Arkansas the first 20 minutes of this game. And if I am correct with Colgate getting off to a slow start, I think it's a better wager going Arkansas first half -4.5 than the full game where you're looking at 8.5, 9 points.
Interesting. All right. Well, certainly a step up in competition here against Arkansas for Colgate. Dave, how are you going to approach it?
Well, Colgate's good. I mean, they're a legit basketball team. And I know they only played against Patriot League competition this year, but they did what they were supposed to do. Their only loss was to Army, and that was the night after they'd beaten them by like 40. So they obviously just kind of had a flat spot and got nipped by 2 points. They beat everybody else. Most of the wins were really easy. They are a quality team. The problem here is Arkansas is a big team, and I think the physical difference in this game is going to eventually tell. I kind of disagree with Marco. I think Colgate could hang around early in this game, but I think the size of Arkansas is eventually going to wear them down. Musselman's going to have his team prepared, and I think making matters worse for Colgate is the fact that Arkansas is off a pretty bad game. I mean, they were just horrible on offense in the second half against LSU in the SEC tournament over the weekend. I had Arkansas in that game, and I thought, it was a real tight game at the half. I thought, okay, we're going to get them in the second half. I thought I was going to win that game. I didn't. They just did nothing right offensively in the second half. Turnovers, bad shots. So if there's any complacency, I have a tendency to believe it might have gotten wiped out in practice this week. We know Musselman is a really good coach in terms of preparing his team. And coming out of a bad last game, I think Colgate's running into the wrong Arkansas team here. I think Arkansas eventually puts this one away by a pretty good margin. Not to take away from the Red Raiders. They're a real good team, but it's just not the right matchup for them.
How are you going to approach this one, Ralph, between these two teams, Patriot League, SEC?
Well, I love when the CBS announcers say, "Oh, the total's going to be 200." So it was 161. It got bounced up at 5 points. I'm going to approach it this way. I'm going to go under in the first half. You first look at Dave just talked about Arkansas in their game against LSU. They scored 31 points the first 10 minutes of the game. They scored 6 points the last 10 minutes of the first half. So 31 minutes the first quarter, 6 points the second quarter. And Arkansas, they've been without Williams for a couple games because of quarantine. So they only played 6 guys against LSU. I don't think they're going to come out nearly as the same pace. And then you have Colgate, who's played the number 320th schedule, hasn't played an offense hasn't played a defense higher than 150 all year. This is the number 13 Arkansas. And you have Colgate, which Marco said shoots very well from the 3. Well, guess what? All those Patriots gyms hold about 800 people. They're now playing where the Pacers play at the Fieldhouse. So, you do have a big venue for them to shoot the threes. I expect a slow start. I like under in the first half.
All right, going under in the first half. All right, guys, there you go. Now, of course, we do have some best bets we want to give you guys here on the card, and we'll start, of course, with our friends from the Gold Sheet. And these Gold Sheet best bets, you can find them at our Wager Talk Twitter page. They are posted there each and every day. And the Gold Sheet play today, Ralph, looks Like the NIT, we're going Davidson here over NC State. They've got, I believe, 68-63. Davidson over NC State in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, these are one of my old favorite NIT type plays when you have in-state little brother where they would have a home game normally because they would sell the tickets and they would say yes. This obviously all the NIT games are in either Denton or Katy, Texas this year. So a little different feel, but follow Wager Talk on Twitter at Wager Talk and read that right up from the gold sheet on Davidson as their play of the day.
Yep, 1.5 right now in a number of places. Davidson the favorite in that matchup. All right, let's go, Marco. Come on, my man. Where are you putting your faith in for the best bet here? Where are you going?
Well, it's a game we already talked about, and I'm going to go back to the Drake game tonight and pick the winner, Drake and Wichita State. I got to go with Drake. And the thing I just can't get past is this is a team that had a tremendous regular season record, only 4 losses on the season, 2 of them to a very good Loyola Chicago team, as we talked about. And then, as I said, the other 2 games, they're excuse-me games, losses. You beat a team on the road the night before, and then you play the second of back-to-backs. It's hard to win those games on the road, sweep like that. I'll excuse those 2 losses. I'll take them tonight in just basically a pick the winner -2. Take Drake as the best bet.
All right, Drake, it is for the best bet. And Dave, just to recap, where are you going here tonight? And again, just mention hockey, baseball, you put them together, all access pass, great opportunity to get both from you.
It is. I hope people will take advantage of that. Best bet for the reasons I already outlined. Arkansas minus the points against Colgate.
Okay, let's do it. Arkansas, it is, guys. And Ralph, I know you mentioned earlier, we talked to UCLA, Michigan State. Just to recap, what exactly is it that you're going to put out there for the best bet in the show?
I'm taking the Bruins for the first half.
Okay, Bruins first half it is there, guys. To me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And when you go 13-3 as a dog in your last 16, yeah, I'll take Oregon State because I do not trust Tennessee. No Fulkerson, the heart and soul certainly of that team. Not a big scorer, but certainly a guy, a senior that they would want on a team. But we can thank Florida for him not being there. Best bet recap, guys, one more time. Ralph, UCLA first half getting 1. Dave likes Arkansas, lay the 8.5 against Colgate. Marco, tonight, Drake laid the 2. I'm going to go tomorrow night, Oregon State. Give me the 8.5 against Tennessee. And our friends from the Gold Sheet, they're going Davidson, laying 1.5 against NC State in the NIT here tonight. Don't forget, the Gold Sheet plays Twitter. Just head over there, head over to the Wager Talk page, and make sure you're following these gentlemen as well. Make sure you're heading over to wagertalk.com. Best bets locked and loaded here. Now would be a fantastic opportunity heading into the first weekend here of March Madness. 3-day, 7-day, 30-day all-access packages. Make sure you do not miss a selection. Head over to wagertalk.com now to Ralph's page, to Dave's page, to Marco's page. So on behalf of Marco D'Angelo, Dave Koch, and Ralph Michaels, guys, hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner. And then make sure you come back tomorrow. We got more college basketball to talk about as we head into the weekend. We'll do so tomorrow. So best of luck with your plays, guys. We'll see you then.